Hey there, savvy investors. Welcome back to Talk Tickers,
Back again.
where we decode the world of earnings calls so you don't have to.
That's right.
Today, we are diving deep into the beauty aisle with Ulta Beauty's Q3 2024 earnings call.
Ooh, fun.
You got that dense transcript
Yeah.
and a mountain of articles.
Stack of them.
But don't worry,
We got you.
we're here to unearth the insights that matter most to your portfolio.
Absolutely.
Think of us as your
Beauty savvy.
beauty savvy,
Finance fluent friends.
finance fluent friends ready to break it all down.
Yeah, what's interesting here is that Ulta's trying to strike a balance. On one hand, they're facing a tougher environment, a more cautious consumer,
Right.
fierce competition, and the beauty market calming down from its post-pandemic high. But on the other, they're showing signs of resilience, adapting to these challenges in ways that might just give them an edge.
Okay, so let's set the stage. How did Ulta actually perform this quarter? Did they beat expectations, fall short, or land somewhere in between?
They actually exceeded expectations, which is impressive considering those headwinds we just talked about.
Yeah.
Net sales grew 1.7% to $2.5 billion.
Okay.
Comparable sales were up a modest 0.6%, and diluted earnings per share rose 1.4% to $5.14.
Not too shabby.
Not bad.
But you mentioned headwinds.
Yeah.
And I'm sure our listeners are curious about the specifics. What exactly is Ulta up against?
Well, for starters, the U.S. beauty category is normalizing. Remember that surge in demand we saw during the pandemic?
Oh, yeah.
That's leveling out now, meaning growth isn't as explosive as it used to be.
Right.
Then there's the consumer inflation and economic uncertainty are making people think twice about where they spend their money.
Makes sense.
And lastly, competition is heating up, particularly in the prestige beauty segment, which is where Ulta has traditionally been a powerhouse.
Okay, so tougher market,
Yeah.
more cautious consumer and rivals breathing down their neck. Given all that,
Yeah.
how is Ulta holding its own? What strategies are they using to stay afloat, let alone thrive?
They're focusing on adapting and playing to their strengths. One key area is market share, despite the challenges. Ulta's prestige market share trends actually improved this quarter, ending up flat overall, which is a win in this environment.
Wow.
This was driven by gains in makeup and hair care categories,
Okay.
while they also maintained a strong position in fragrance and skincare.
Let's dig into those categories a bit more. Which ones were the real stars of this show and which ones might need a little makeover?
Fragrance was the clear winner, boasting high single-digit comparable sales growth. This was fueled by several trends, including the rise of men's fragrance,
Interesting.
the growing popularity of gender-neutral scents, and strong sales of those irresistible fall and holiday gift sets.
I love a gift set.
Skincare also performed well, delivering mid-single-digit growth thanks to a surge in body care products.
Hold on, men's fragrance.
Yeah.
That's intriguing. Is this a sign of a broader shift in how men approach beauty and personal care?
It's definitely something to watch. The beauty industry is evolving, becoming more inclusive, and recognizing that men are just as interested in fragrance as women.
Right.
Ulta is smart to capitalize on this trend by offering a diverse range of scents, including those specifically tailored to men.
Makes sense. So we got fragrance and skincare smelling rosy.
Looking good.
What about the ever-popular loyalty program? Is it still drawing in the crowds?
Absolutely. Ulta's loyalty program continues to be a major asset. They now have a whopping 44.4 million active members, a 5% increase year over year.
Wow.
That's a clear sign that people are sticking with the brand and finding value in the program's perks and rewards.
Okay, so fragrance, skincare, and loyalty are all looking good. But I have a feeling makeup and hair care might not have had quite as glamorous a quarter.
Yeah.
Am I right?
You were both makeup and hair care saw low single-digit decreases in comparable sales.
Oh.
The softness in makeup was mainly attributed to the mass makeup segment, which suggests that consumers might be trading down to more affordable options in this category. Hair care faced some headwinds as well, though the specifics weren't outlined in the call.
So how is Ulta responding to these challenges? Are they just slashing prices, or are they taking a more strategic approach to boost those lagging categories?
They're definitely not just relying on discounts. Ulta's focusing on elevating the customer experience and fostering deeper engagement, for instance. They hosted over 13,000 in-store events this quarter, featuring everything from celebrity appearances to brand founder meet and greets.
Now that's an experience.
Right.
I'm all for a little star power while I'm browsing for the perfect mascara, but what about those of us who prefer to shop from the comfort of our couches?
Yeah.
Is Ulta doing anything to enhance the online experience as well?
They've really upped their digital game, particularly with the relaunch of their GLM lab, which now includes virtual try-on capabilities and AI-powered skin and hair analysis.
Nice.
These tools help customers find the perfect products for their needs and preferences,
Right.
reducing the uncertainty that often comes with online beauty shopping. Okay, that's pretty cool. I can see how that would appeal to customers who are hesitant to buy beauty products online without trying them first. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. The economy.
Yeah.
With inflation and economic concerns on everyone's minds, is Ulta doing anything to attract the more value-conscious consumer? After all, lipstick isn't exactly a necessity when budgets are tight.
You're absolutely right. Lipstick might not be a necessity, but self-care and feeling good are always in demand. Ulta recognizes that consumers are prioritizing value, and they're addressing this in a few ways. They emphasize their diverse product assortment, which caters to a wide range of budgets and preferences.
Yeah?
They also highlight their compelling offers and promotions, which provide opportunities to save. And let's not forget their convenient omni-channel experience, which allows customers to shop seamlessly across online, in-store, and mobile platforms.
Smart move. Speaking of smart moves, the holiday season is upon us.
It is.
And we all know that's when retailers make a big push to win over shoppers.
'Tis the season.
What's Ulta's strategy to capture those holiday dollars? Their holiday campaign this year is called Find Joy in the Present, and it's all about tapping into the emotional connection that people have with beauty and gift giving. They've carefully curated a holiday assortment that strikes a balance between new and exclusive products and value-driven options like holiday kits and those must-have core items that everyone loves.
That makes sense. People want to treat themselves and their loved ones during the holidays, but they're also looking for good value.
Yeah.
But how is Ulta making it easier for people to shop? Because let's face it, holiday shopping can be chaotic and stressful.
They're all about convenience. They're offering options like buy online, pick up in store, or BOPIS, as it's known in the retail world.
BOPIS.
They also have same-day delivery and partnerships with DoorDash and Instacart for those last-minute gifts, or when you just can't face the mall crowds.
Wait, DoorDash for beauty products? That's genius.
Yeah.
I love that they're thinking outside the box and making it super easy for people to get their Ulta fix. So it sounds like they've got a pretty comprehensive plan in place for the holidays.
They do, and they're also continuing to build their community, which is something they highlighted in the call they recently launched, UB Community, a digital forum where beauty enthusiasts can connect, share their experiences, and geek out over all things beauty.
That's a really interesting move. It's not just about selling products. It's about building a community around the brand and creating a space where people feel connected and engaged. But a community needs leaders.
Right.
And there's been some news on that front, right?
Right. Monica Arnaudo, Ulta's chief merchandising officer, announced her retirement in spring 2025. She's been with the company since 2017 and played a key role in their success. Ulta is currently searching for her successor, which is a major leadership transition to watch.
So there's a lot going on at Ulta Beauty. They're navigating a challenging environment, but they're not sitting still. They're adapting, innovating, and really trying to understand what their customers want and how to meet those needs in a way that drives growth and builds loyalty.
Exactly. They're not shying away from experimentation, whether it's partnering with unexpected brands or leveraging technology to enhance the customer experience. They're playing the long game and positioning themselves to thrive in the ever-evolving world of beauty retail.
All right, before we jump into part 2,
Yes.
let's have some fun.
Ooh.
You know, we love to speculate here at Talk Tickers, so put on your thinking caps, folks. Expert. What's an outrageous yet plausible trade idea based on what we've learned about Ulta Beauty so far?
All right. If we connect this to the bigger picture,
Okay.
Ulta is clearly betting big on personalized experiences and catering to that value-driven consumer. So how about a long-term play on Ulta combined with a short position on a more traditional, less digitally savvy beauty retailer?
Ooh, I like where this is going. Explain it to me like I'm a Sephora VIB, but my portfolio is looking a little dull.
The idea is that Ulta captures market share as it adapts to these changing consumer trends.
Okay.
While the other retailer struggles to keep up, it's a high-risk, high-reward scenario, but potentially a profitable one.
Love it. A bold move for a bold investor. But of course, folks, remember, this is pure speculation, not a recommendation.
Absolutely.
This is not financial advice.
This is not financial advice.
All right, that wraps up part 1 of our deep dive into Ulta Beauty's Q3 earnings call. Be sure to join us for part 2, where we'll unpack even more juicy details and insights.
We'll see you there. Welcome back to Talk Tickers.
We're in the midst of dissecting Ulta Beauty's Q3 2024 earnings call. And, you know, we'd love to get into the nitty-gritty, the details that might just give you an edge in your investment decisions.
Think of us as financial archaeologists carefully brushing away the dirt to uncover those hidden gems buried within these earnings calls.
And speaking of gems, one that caught my eye was Ulta's emphasis on men's fragrance. It was a key driver of growth for them this quarter, wasn't it?
It was, and it's a trend worth noting, particularly if you're looking at the broader beauty landscape. Fragrance as a whole is booming, and Ulta seems to be strategically capitalizing on that by offering a diverse range of scents, including those tailored to men.
It's interesting because it speaks to a larger cultural shift, doesn't it?
Hmm.
The traditional lines around beauty and personal care are blurring, and brands are recognizing that men are just as interested in fragrances as women.
Exactly. And Ulta is smart to cater to this growing market. They specifically highlighted luxury brands like Armani and YSL as key contributors to their men's fragrance success, which shows you the potential spending power of this demographic.
Those are definitely big names in the fragrance world, but it wasn't just about the established brands, was it? Ulta also mentioned the rise of gender-neutral fragrances, which seems to be resonating with the younger generation.
That's another fascinating trend, and one that speaks to the evolving concept of self-expression. Consumers, particularly younger ones, are increasingly interested in scents that aren't defined by traditional gender norms.
So it's not just about smelling good. It's about expressing yourself authentically through fragrance, choosing a scent that reflects your personality and style, regardless of how those might have been categorized in the past. But let's move on to a category that's always close to my heart, and I'm sure many of our listeners can relate. Skincare?
Yes.
Ulta's skincare category did pretty well this quarter with mid-single-digit growth, right?
That's right. And what's interesting here is that the growth was fueled largely by the body care segment. This suggests that consumers are taking a more holistic approach to skincare, focusing on their entire body, not just their face.
Like the skinification trend we've been hearing about, where the same level of care and attention that people used to give to their faces is now extending to the rest of their bodies. Are there any brands that stood out in this category?
Ulta highlighted a couple interesting ones. Sol de Janeiro, a newer brand known for its vibrant packaging and luxurious sensorial formulas, continues to be a customer favorite. Their Brazilian Bum Bum Cream, for example, has achieved cult classic status. They also mentioned Touchland, a brand known for its innovative and beautifully designed hand sanitizers, as another strong performer in body care.
So it's not just about traditional skincare products like serums and moisturizers anymore. It's about pampering and taking care of your whole body and doing it in a way that feels fun and exciting.
Exactly. And Ulta seems to understand that consumers want products that not only deliver results, but also enhance their overall well-being and fit into their lifestyle.
And to help customers navigate this increasingly complex world of skincare, Ulta's been investing in those digital buying guides, right? I think those are a brilliant way to educate and guide customers who might be feeling overwhelmed by all the choices.
Absolutely. Ulta is leveraging technology to enhance the customer experience and make it easier for people to find the right products for their needs. These digital buying guides are a great example of that. They offer educational content, beauty tips, and personalized product recommendations, all tailored to the individual's skin concerns and preferences.
It's like having a virtual beauty consultant at your fingertips, guiding you through the aisles and helping you make informed decisions. And speaking of personalized experiences, let's circle back to Ulta's loyalty program. It's clearly a core part of their strategy, and it's not just about earning points anymore, is it?
It's so much more than that. They're offering exclusive perks, personalized experiences, and even early access to new product launches, all designed to make their members feel valued and appreciated.
They're really tapping into the psychology of loyalty, aren't they? By creating these exclusive experiences and benefits, they're fostering a sense of community, making their members feel like they're part of something special.
Exactly. And those platinum and diamond members, the ones who spend the most and shop most frequently, they're the real VIPs. Ulta knows how important these high-value customers are, and they're pulling out all the stops to keep them engaged.
They mentioned in the call that these platinum and diamond members have incredibly high retention rates, which makes sense. If you're getting all these perks and exclusive benefits, why would you shop anywhere else? But beyond the loyalty program, Ulta is also trying to build a broader sense of community with their new digital forum UB community, right?
Yes. And it's an interesting move. They're creating a dedicated online space for beauty enthusiasts to connect, share their experiences, learn from each other, and engage with the brand in a more meaningful way.
It's like a virtual beauty club where you can chat about your favorite products, get tips and advice, and connect with people who share your passion for all things beauty. And it sounds like it's already exceeding expectations in terms of user engagement, which suggests that people are craving that sense of connection and belonging within the beauty community.
It's a smart strategy, especially in today's world where consumers are bombarded with choices and marketing messages. Building a community around your brand helps you cut through the noise and create a more authentic connection with your customers.
All right, let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that every retailer, especially in the beauty space, has to grapple with: competition. The beauty landscape is more crowded than ever, especially with the rise of these new points of distribution for prestige beauty products.
You're right. It's a tough environment, and Ulta didn't shy away from that in their earnings call. They acknowledged the pressure they're facing from these new competitors, but they also emphasized their confidence in their ability to adapt and thrive. How do they plan to do that? By focusing on what they do best. They have a diverse product assortment that caters to a wide range of needs and budgets. They have that powerful loyalty program that we've been talking about, and they're continuing to invest in their omni-channel capabilities, making it easy and enjoyable to shop across all platforms.
They're also not afraid to experiment with new ideas and partnerships, which is essential in today's dynamic retail landscape. They mentioned collaborations with Wicked the Broadway musical and Mini Brands, the company that makes those miniature collectibles.
Those collaborations are a great example of how Ulta is staying agile and responsive to changing consumer trends. They're tapping into pop culture, creating buzzworthy experiences, and appealing to a wider audience. It's a smart way to stay relevant and keep things fresh.
And let's not forget about their efforts to control inventory shrink, which is a major issue for retailers, especially those dealing with high-value products like cosmetics and fragrances. They've implemented new security measures, training programs, and even technology solutions, and they're seeing some positive results.
That's a critical area of focus for any retailer, but especially in beauty, where high-value products are often targeted. The fact that Ulta is taking proactive steps to mitigate this risk and is seeing this from progress is a positive sign for investors. It shows that they're paying attention to the details and are committed to operational efficiency.
So it's a mixed bag for Ulta Beauty. They're facing some serious headwinds, but they're also showing resilience and a willingness to innovate and adapt to the changing market dynamics.
Exactly. They're not just standing still and hoping for the best. They're actively shaping their future, investing in their strengths and experimenting with new ideas to stay ahead of the curve.
All right, that wraps up part 2 of our Ulta Beauty Deep Dive. Join us for part 3, where we'll delve deeper into the company's financial performance and their outlook for the future. Welcome back to Talk Ticker, Savvy Investors. We're wrapping up our deep dive into Ulta Beauty's Q3 2024 earnings call. And in this final part,
The final part.
we're putting on our CFO hats to scrutinize the numbers, get into those juicy financial details that can really make or break an investment decision.
Yeah, let's look at the balance sheet.
So let's start with a key metric that often catches investors' eyes: gross margin. Ulta's gross margin dipped slightly in Q3, coming in at 39.7%,
39.7.
which is a 20 basis point decrease compared to the same period last year.
You're
Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the term gross margin, essentially tells you how much profit a company makes after deducting the costs directly associated with producing and selling its goods.
the cost of goods sold.
Okay, so slight dip in gross margin. What were the main factors driving that decrease? Was it simply a matter of higher costs, or were there other forces at play?
It was a bit of a mixed bag, actually. Higher fixed costs, such as rent and utilities, played a role, as did lower other revenue, which includes things like credit card income and salon services. However, there were some partially offsetting factors, such as lower e-commerce shipping costs, which helped to mitigate the decline.
So a little bit of a squeeze on the margins, but it sounds like they're managing it. But remember, they're also dealing with that increased competition and a more value-conscious consumer that we talked about earlier. So some pressure on margins isn't entirely unexpected in this environment.
Right. And you also have to remember that Ulta is investing heavily in growth initiatives, such as opening new stores and upgrading their technology platforms. These investments are crucial for their long-term success, but they can sometimes put pressure on margins in the short term.
A classic balancing act, isn't it? Investing for the future while also managing current profitability.
Exactly.
But on a positive note, they did manage to keep their merchandise margins flat this quarter, right? I think that's a good sign, especially considering the inflationary pressures many retailers are facing.
It is a good sign. It means they're managing their pricing and sourcing strategies effectively, even in a challenging environment. And part of that success can be attributed to the relaunch of their Ulta Beauty collection, their own private label brand.
That's interesting. Their own brand is clearly resonating with customers, offering a compelling combination of quality and value. It's a smart strategy, especially when consumers are looking for ways to stretch their budgets.
Private label brands can be very profitable for retailers, and they give Ulta more control over pricing and product development. And speaking of controlling costs, they're also seeing some benefits from those efforts to reduce inventory shrink that we mentioned earlier.
Oh, yes. Shrink, the silent profit killer for retailers. It's great to hear that those new security measures and training programs are paying off. Every dollar saved from shrink is a dollar added to the bottom line, right?
Exactly. And in Ulta's case, it's not just about dollars, it's about protecting their brand reputation and ensuring that their customers have a positive shopping experience.
Okay, let's move on to another key expense category, SG&A, or selling general and administrative expenses. These are the costs associated with running the business. Things like salaries, marketing, and technology. How did those look this quarter?
SG&A expenses increased 3.2% to $682 million for the quarter. Now, that might seem like a significant jump, but it's important to put it in context.
Context is key.
They actually did better than expected in this area thanks to some disciplined expense management.
So they're keeping a close eye on costs, which is always a good thing, especially in this uncertain economic climate. But what about the bigger picture? What's their outlook for the rest of the year? And how have they adjusted their guidance based on their Q3 performance?
They've refined their full-year guidance to reflect the current market conditions and their recent results. They now expect net sales for fiscal year 2024 to be between $11.1 billion and $11.2 billion,
Okay.
with comparable sales growth between -1% and flat.
Okay, so they're acknowledging that the growth might be a bit slower than they initially anticipated, which makes sense given the economic headwinds we've been discussing. What about their profitability? What are they projecting in terms of operating margin, which basically tells you how much profit they're making from their core operations?
They're projecting an operating margin between 12.9% and 13.1%,
Okay.
which is still a healthy margin, especially considering the challenges they're facing.
Right. And last but not least, the metric that everyone wants to know, earnings per share. How is all of this going to impact their bottom line?
They've adjusted their diluted earnings per share guidance to a range of $23.23 to $23.75. So while they're facing some headwinds, they're still in a relatively strong financial position, and their earnings outlook remains solid.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground today, from Ulta's strategic initiatives to their financial performance. Let's wrap things up with some key takeaways for our listeners who are thinking about investing in Ulta Beauty. What are the key things they should consider?
Here's what I'd say. Ulta is a well-managed company with a strong track record of success. They're facing some headwinds right now, but they're adapting and innovating to stay ahead of the curve. They're investing in their strengths, like their loyalty program and their omni-channel capabilities, and they're not afraid to experiment with new ideas and partnerships to keep their brand fresh and exciting.
They're also very focused on the customer experience, both online and offline, which is crucial in today's competitive retail landscape.
And they have a loyal customer base, which is a valuable asset in any industry. So for investors who are looking for a company with a solid growth story and a proven ability to navigate challenges, Ulta Beauty is definitely worth a closer look. But remember, do your own research, understand the risks, and make informed decisions. This is just our analysis and perspective, and we're not giving financial advice.
Absolutely. Investing always involves risk, and what's right for one investor might not be right for another.
Exactly.
Okay, folks, that concludes our deep dive into Ulta Beauty's Q3 2024 earnings call. We hope you found it insightful and, dare we say, a little bit entertaining.
We hope you enjoyed it.
Until next time, stay curious, keep those talk tickers coming, and as always, happy investing.
Happy invest.